What's up, JEFusion fans? This is Phil with another video. So in the previous one, I talked about my love for the Power Rangers franchise and how it changed my life. However, I will admit that there were some points in my life that, to be completely honest, and this could be quite controversial considering my previous video, there were times that I honestly hated the Power Rangers. So in this video, I'm going to elaborate on some reasons why I hated the Power Rangers. But to be more specific, there were like points in time, you know, where I felt that, the entire franchise wasn't good. So I believe it's going to be easier if I go through this chronologically. So with that said, um, I do not mean for this video to be, derogatory to the franchise. Again, I love the Power Rangers franchise, and in some ways I still do. To be fair, it's more of a like the nostalgia thingy, and like I feel very neutral about the newer seasons, to say the least. But nonetheless, again, it was a big part of my life growing up and a big contributor to my uh to myself being a tokusatsu fan in general. So with that said, let me elaborate on some of the key points in time in my life where I hated the Power Rangers franchise. So here we go. So when the Power Rangers series first aired in the Philippines in 1994, so it was a really big hit. As I have also mentioned in uh, my previous video. But when it ran for a few years, up until like 1999, 2000, the show has been stretched because it was a weekly thing. Uh, So there were points in the story where I felt like the Rangers had to lose. So I do understand, like, if you're watching a Super Sentai show, like, especially in the final arcs of each season, each series, like there were points in time where the Rangers would especially lose the ability to transform, and they are faced with a very serious threat that could potentially end the world. But through some miracle, or through some ingenuity, so the Rangers are able to pull one last victory and maybe like regain their ability to transform and fight again. And this is where we get our climactic battle with the main villain or the final boss of the show. So that's what happens in Super Sentai. And the difference is with Power Rangers, so when they lose their ability to transform, this was very much so in the Zordon era of the franchise. So the Rangers had to lose their powers in order to gain new ones, but it doesn't feel like, you know, like the first like issues are resolved, if you know what I mean, or probably it, like they win against one villain, and a new villain comes in, but their powers prove ineffective, so they lose those powers in order to gain new ones. It's been so long, so I couldn't remember clearly which one, but I think this still stands. So basically, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers lose their powers in order to become Zeo Rangers, and then they lose the Zeo powers in order to become the Turbo Power Rangers. Stuff like that. So near the end of Turbo, so Diva Talks attacks the command center and destroys everything. So the Rangers lose their base. They lose their ability to transform, which forced them to flee into space. Guess what? The Philippines never got Power Rangers in space. You heard that right. We never saw in space. If you think of it if that were to be, uh if Power Rangers Turbo were like the finale of the franchise, it's going to be such a bad ending. So, and well, if you, of course, it was unresolved. It was left unresolved so that In Space could begin, you know, from exactly where we leave Power Rangers Turbo. So, TJ and the rest of the Rangers, except Justin, go into space. They meet Andros. They receive their powers, their new powers, and they're able to fight back. And with Andros, well, making a very big sacrifice by actually destroying Zordon. So everything is resolved and everything ends perfectly well. And if Power Rangers were to end on that note, it would have been a very fitting ending for the franchise. We never got that in the Philippines. It just ended with the Power Rangers defeated, leaving for space, not knowing what's going to happen next. That for me was the very first time I felt that Power Rangers sucked. You know, you're used to seeing them every week almost, they go into battle, the Rangers go into battle, they face a very strong enemy. It may take a few episodes, like a whole story arc, just before the conflicts are resolved, but in the end they're resolved, right? But again, that ending of Power Rangers Turbo ending on a very, you know, bad ending and on a cliffhanger, you know, to say at that, like, it was just such a disappointment, really. So, however, years would pass and the Power Rangers franchise would begin airing again in the Philippines. So, starting in around 2003, we got Wild Force. Now, starting from Wild Force until, well, who knows what, uh, maybe like the Disney era Power Rangers. Like, I loved those seasons. Well, maybe not the later half of um the Disney era, probably until Mystic Force. Like, I did love it. You know, Wild Force was great. Um, Ninja Storm was amazing. Uh, Dino Thunder almost, really got me into the fandom, but it was definitely SPD that uh, kicked it into high gear for me, being a Power Rangers fan. And Mystic Force was definitely great for what it was, but starting with Operation Overdrive, yeah, I did start to lose some of that steam, but overall, like, it was okay. I never really got to finish like Jungle Fury, but I do like some of the episodes. Power Rangers RPM was a very unique spin on the story. Like, the post-apocalyptic theme was interesting, compared to like Go Onger's very fun, vibrant, and almost comedic, basically comedic atmosphere was replaced with the doom and gloom of RPM. I think it was an interesting twist. Then came that abrupt ending, like I believe the Screenwriters Guild strike. So it affected the Power Rangers franchise, and then we had another hiatus, but this time like as a whole, like the whole world stopped seeing Power Rangers for quite some time. Then comes Power Rangers Samurai. I personally think Samurai Sentai Shinkenger is one of the best Super Sentai shows out there, objectively speaking, one of my personal favorites. And here comes Power Rangers Samurai. Now, there was a Time Force to be exact, when Power Rangers tried to adapt a Super Sentai show almost 100%. You know, like in terms of the characters, in terms of the story, like for the past, shows or the seasons before Time Force, like the only thing that uh, or the only things that the Power Rangers franchise took from Super Sentai would be the suits and the footage, and then they would write completely original stories based off of that. That was fine. It worked. However, with Power Rangers Time Force, they tried to copy Mirai Sentai Time Ranger, like a photocopy, but it worked. And for me, like Power Rangers Time Force is one of my favorites. I watched the entire series on YouTube a few years ago, but when I saw it, it was amazing. Like it was the way to adapt a Super Sentai series. Like if you're going to copy the whole story, and it translated very well. Then comes Samurai trying to copy Shinkenger, and oh boy, let's just say it was a big letdown for me. It just doesn't feel right, you know? Whichever way you put it, like you can try to defend Power Rangers Samurai if you're a fan, that's okay. But for me, you can't convince me otherwise. You know, it's just not good, in my opinion. And then here comes Power Rangers Mega Force and Super Mega Force Wood. Oh boy. Now you're talking about a disaster. I said it. Like, I couldn't even stand what Saban did to Mega Force and Super Mega Force. Oh my goodness. Really. And the only franchise in the or the only show in the uh Neo Saban era that I kind of started to watch was Power Rangers Dino Charge. I tried Ninja Steel, but you know I just dropped it. Like I think both shows did okay. They did kind of better than Samurai and Mega Force. God, it hurts saying it, but I mean, looking at the seasons, although to be completely honest, I haven't seen Dino Fury and Cosmic Fury. So I really can't say anything about them for now, but I understand some things that they did, but having not having seen the show yet, so I'm gonna keep myself shut about it. But definitely, oh boy, Mega Force, mega fail. There, I said it. And yeah, so those were the times that I hated Power Rangers. So, what do you think? Were there any points in your life that you hated Power Rangers as a Power Rangers fan? So, let me know down in the comments. Of course, you're welcome to disagree with me, that's fine. But I just wanted to say what I feel honestly. So, Anyways, again, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please do leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, and don't forget that notification bell so you get the latest from JEFusion. This has been Philip, and I'll see you next time. Bye.